Hi friends, so we are going to make this little snowman glass jar with the little Christmas tree inside. I got this little jar with a lid at a thrift store. You can use any jar you might have on hand, a mason jar or whatever you might find at a thrift store. Dollar Tree has them, so let's get started. So here's my jar, and I'm going to start out by painting it chalk paint in the color Adirondack White by Full Cart. And my paint is kind of thickened up a little bit. It took a minute to get it out of the jar. I'm just going to paint that wood part of that lid, just using a little foam dauber. And I just kind of pounce it on instead of using strokes. I just kind of pounce it up and down. And I'll get it fully covered, and then I will give it a quick dry with my heating tool, which speeds things up. And then I touch up and give a little bit of a second coat afterwards too. And it doesn't matter that there's a little hole in the top because that will be covered up. So I got these fairy lights on Amazon. They come in a 20 pack, so they're great to make things in bulk or lots of gift craft ideas you might have. So I'm just unraveling it here. And I'll start with the very end, and I just wrap it around the top of the tree, and then I wrap it around the tree till I get to the bottom of the tree. And then I'm going to glue that tree, the wood base of it, at the bottom of the jar. And then I'm just going to finish putting all those fairy lights in and around the tree. They keep wanting to pop up, so I had to find something that would hold it down. As soon as I pulled the paintbrush out, it popped up again. So I hold it in there, and I'm using these little snowflakes I got at Hobby Lobby. And I'm just pouring those on top of the lights, so it'll kind of hold it down a little bit, and then I'm just pouring around the tree till I get an amount that I like, that I think looks good. And then I continue to put those fairy lights all around. I'm going to put them in almost the whole thing. Then I'll just set that aside a little bit. So now I'm using these styrofoam balls I also got at Hobby Lobby. I think they're just slightly under 3 inches. So I grabbed a kitchen knife, and I'm just going to cut off a piece to make a flat bottom. And I'm going to glue that on top of the lid. Just gluing that on, and then I'll find the front part that I like the best. So now I'm going to work on his hat, so I needed to get those little flakes out of my way. So I just have some of this gingham, red and white gingham fabric I got at the Hobby Lobby. And I just had a 1/4 yard of this, and it was the perfect size to go around his little head. So I just decided how high I wanted it, and that's what I'm doing right now, is just cutting that. So now I'm just going to glue that around his head, kind of starting in the front where I want it to sit. Just going clear around his head till they meet up in the back. Try not to burn your fingers, and it melts the styrofoam a little bit, but not totally, so it works out just fine. Cutting that little bit of excess off. And now I'm going to gather that and tie some twine around the middle there. I'm just going to tie it in front and tie it in a knot for now and leave the tails till I'm ready to work with it a little bit more. And as you can see, I'm just cutting the rest off that top. So now I have these little half wooden beads. So I'm taking two and I'm just going to use my Posca markers. These are paint markers. They're so awesome. Very handy. I mean, I could have got out my paint and a paintbrush and that would have been fine too, but this was just so perfectly handy. So I'm taping those on some Scotch tape or masking tape. And I'm using the black marker and just painting the whole half bead, both of them. And these are going to be the snowman's eyeballs. Now I'm using the white and putting a couple dots as a little reflection in his eyes. Make sure those are completely dry so I don't smudge them. And I was trying to decide what I wanted to do at the top of his hat there where I've tied that knot of twine. So I'm just looking at my different buttons and I just decided to go with just a basic red round button. And I'm using some tiny little twigs of greenery that I got at Walmart. These are the boxwood little picks and I love them. I use these on a lot of crafts. So I'm just going to glue two little sprigs just on either side of that bow that I tied with the twine. And then I'll glue that red button right in the center. Trim up that end piece, those tails of the twine. Get everything to sit and lay where I wanted it to. Now I'm going to put his little eyes on. And then I had these little tiny styrofoam carrots that I got at the Dollar Tree back in the spring. They're little carrots, and so I cut the end off one so it was a little bit shorter and flatter so it was easier to glue on there. Put those right below the eyes. And I'm not going to put a mouth on this snowman. I just think he looks cute just the way he is there. So now I'm poking those all the way down and testing out the lights. You can do it really fast blink, slow blink, or no blink at all. So now I'm just going to glue that on the bottom of the lid. And that's how you turn it on and off. And I kept kind of bending the wire and making it blink on and off. Just shook it a little bit to get that snow laying where I wanted it to. And he looks cute so far. Now all I've got left is to put a little scarf around his neck. And so I had that same fabric, some strips of it that I tore off. And you can see here I initially wrap it around twice and end in the front. And I get it all glued and trimmed the length I want and everything, put a button on. And then I decided with those 2 layers of scarf going around his neck, it was too hard to open and close the lid each time. And so I get it all finished, and then I realized this, of course. So I ended up kind of taking it off and starting over, and I just wrap it around his neck once, and then I will glue it really well to the wood part of the lid. So in a moment here, you will see that I change things up. I'm still gluing to his lid. And then I got this little green flower button that I just put in the middle of his scarf. But like I said, I will tear all this off and start the scarf over. But it was really quick and easy to do. I just decided it wouldn't be very easy to take the lid on and off. So there you can see I took it off and unraveled it. I'm just wrapping it around once and securing it right there in the front, just making the tail pieces hang down where I want them to. And now I'm going to put the button back on. And pick off all those glue strings, stick the back down in the jar, and there we have it. And that is it. Thanks for watching, and you have a whimsical day. Thank you.